pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please.
Duff. Dumont.
Here.
Jeremy.
Here.
Krasnacki.
Here.
McNutt.
Here.
Nedrow.
Here. We did hear.
Brian.
We did know that Mr. Duff wasn't going to be here this month, so
Move to excuse?
second. Motion by Duff, second by
Duff's not even here.
Dumont, second by O'Brien.
Still gets credit for it.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. We did skip over swearing of council meeting members, but we did that last month, so that was just a typo on the agenda. So just to clarify that. I don't believe we have any additions to business, do we?
We do not. I do have an additional amendment to the agenda, though, in addition to the deletion of item 3, which we just talked about. Item 10A, the recommendation to appoint Linda Schwartz to the Parks and Recreation Board. We did some checking in the office today. That's to fill the term of Mitch Charango, who had resigned. So the appointment would actually be for a term expiring on December 31st of 2023 in that 2025.
Okay.
Still a recommendation that she be appointed, but just to clarify that the term would only be through the end of this year, and not for a couple more years.
Alrighty. Anything else?
That's all I have, thank you.
Approval of the agenda as amended, I would say.
So moved.
That was by Dumont. Second by Mr. O'Brien. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. As far as correspondence and info, we just had a couple things. We had a news release from Oakland County regarding the park schedules. We had notice from Oakland County Road Commission regarding tri-party program, which we generally are part of. And we got a real comp market update for the village. So with that, motion to receive and file.
So moved. Second.
That was Mr. Dumont. Motion that. Mr. O'Brien, second it. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. At this point, we're at the first call to public. Opportunity for citizens to address council on agenda items only. And I don't think we have anybody that looks like they want to speak regarding that, so we'll bypass the first call and move on to consideration of the consent agenda. I hear a motion on that.
So moved.
Alrighty.
I'll second.
All right. That was a motion by Mr. Dumont, second by Ms. Krasnacki. Any discussion on that? Roll call vote, please.
Dumont.
Yes.
Jeremy.
Yes.
Krasnacki.
Yes.
McNutt.
Yes.
Nedrow.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. On to 10, board appointments. And again, Mr. Gillum said that this is going to be through 12/31 of 23, so the end of this year. So, the recommendation to appoint Linda Schwartz, Parks and Rec. Motion. Motion by Chair Meany,
Second.
second by, that was Bill O'Brien again. Any discussion? Art?
I'd just say Linda came to us and interested in joining up. She seems like she'll be a great addition. She's already running the local garden club that's in the Lakes area.
Yeah.
So we think she'll be a real big help to us, and we're happy to have her.
Great.
She wasn't able to be here tonight, but she did contact us and said that she'll be coming in tomorrow to get sworn in.
Okay, super. Anything else? Be all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Unanimous decision there, so. Now, glad to be able to appoint or present our 2022 last year Citizen of the Year Award. And that's going to be going to Mr. Mike Kadish. So we got a plaque up here for you. Somebody can take a pic.
I get this from Jennifer.
asking.
You don't want one from
You
Brian.
get a kiss from me and Brian.
Congratulations. Wait, I want my kiss from Jennifer.
The good-looking guy in the middle.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, Mike,
Over here.
thanks for doing all you do for the community.
And I gotta tell you, I appreciate everything you guys do. I just love Wolverine Lake. A little history of my family. My grandfather built my house in 1945, so my family's been in Wolverine Lake for 75 years.
Wow.
I just love this place. I love everybody here, and I appreciate everything everybody does.
Yeah, you do an awful lot for the community, too.
So Kelly, you can call me sir now. On that note, I gotta get back to work. Love you guys. Thanks, everybody.
Congratulations. Thank you,
Last but
Mike.
least, this nice lady is the one that sold the letter for me, Diane, so I interrogated her, and she said she actually admitted writing the letter.
He's gonna pay me when we get in the parking lot.
Thanks,
Hey,
everybody.
thanks so much. Congrats.
Congratulations.
Well, there was 4 nominations, and Mark was on council, so he was ineligible. And there were 2 others besides Mr. Knish, and we discussed it, and Mike has done an awful lot for the community over the years, and I thought that'd be a nice way to kind of say thanks to him, so.
We appreciate what the other 2 nominees are involved in, too.
Absolutely.
Hope they'll stick with it. But, yeah, the committee thought that Mike was the best, the most deserving this year,
Mhm.
so.
Okay.
Can I have it?
Yeah.
Was there anything more to the nomination than what we have here? I mean, did they write like why they thought he should be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't hear that?
What's that?
Can we hear that, or is that something that's, we can't, or do you remember anything?
From that, to tell you the truth, but.
Yeah, the other 2 nominees besides Mark were Anna Kennedy Gorgie.
Well, no, I meant like,
And
why, what did the woman that nominated Mike had wonderful things that she had to say about him? Or she just nominated him, but there's no reason?
She made reference to the fact that he's the president of the homeowners association over there. He's been very active in the community for a number of years.
Okay.
He's had fundraisers. And the last summer, he had a big fundraiser for a girl
Cancer.
in the area that had cancer, I believe. When we had the big storm, he helped people cover up their houses and stuff where they had holes in the roofs. I mean, he had a team of guys out there doing that for nothing, so.
I
mean,
just wanted
there's
that to
support.
kind
Yeah,
of go on
yeah,
record
yeah,
for all the
right.
wonderful things he
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that Mike does over the course of the years.
Yeah, he's supported youth athletic teams in the past. I
Mhm.
think he might even have coached some girls' softball teams. I guess we could have asked him while he was here, but, yeah.
Right. Anyhow, with that, we'll move on to recommendations, updates from our engineer, Mr. Powell.
Good evening, council. I have 2 recommendations for you tonight, and I'd certainly be willing to answer any questions you have. The first one is for the road striping program. Besides striping the roads, and again, we only stripe the major roads in the village. Besides the striping program on the new paving that was done on the south end of the village, the contractor paved the Clara Miller Park parking lot as well. That has already been paid, so that's not part of this pay request. But then they also repaved the crosswalks along Glengarry Road, all the way down from the park, all the way down to Glengarry, to South Commerce Road, and they did the village parking lot as well. So that being said, they have a contract of a unit price contract, so they only get paid for the amount of paint they actually put down. Based upon the work that they've done, I'm recommending a payment of $2,173 to cover the work that they've completed this year.
I'll make a motion that we pay $2,173.
Industrial commercial striping. Excuse me.
And that was out of budgeted funds, I believe.
Yes, it was.
Second.
Motion by Dumont, second by Jeremy. Any other discussion on that?
Yeah, what constitutes a major road?
They are defined based upon MDOT's approval over the years. And so it's typically a roadway that serves as a link to other roadways and a major funnel out to the county roads. So we have Shanken, we have Wolverine Drive, we have Glengarry Road, we have Laguna, and those roads are the major roads, and then the minor roads are the ones that we have to transfer funds from the major road to the minor roads in order to pave those. So it's a MDOT designation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the designations that has an outlet to another major county road.
That
kind
is
of
correct.
throughway, right?
That is correct.
Like Laguna Drive is a major road,
Well,
where
Is
Laguna
it?
Court isn't.
Laguna Drive ends in a cul-de-sac.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And on the
the-
other, on our end, it isn't. But Hermosa, I mean, Apple Orchard,
Right.
any of those are minor roads.
Yeah.
And we have a lot more minor roads than we have major roads in the village.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
But we get more money through the major road fund, so. Okay. At that point, I guess we need a roll call vote.
Jeremy,
Yes.
Wozniacki,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Dumont,
Yes.
Okay. Next item was anything more on the striping, road striping?
I can just point out that there's a section of a major road that was not completed. The weather caught up to them, and that's the section of Wolverine Drive from South Commerce Road to Penny Lake Road. There's a bike path or a walk pathway that's going to be going along the northern side of that roadway that still has to be, and then the lines down either side and down the center. That'll be done in the spring.
Okay.
So you'll be back with another pay
And we'll have a little bit-
recommendation
little bit more
after
to
they've
go on
done
that.
that work.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Alrighty.
Can we make those lines a little bit straighter than the ones?
You pointed those out, and I saw
Wolverine
that.
Drive.
So I will be watching them a lot more
Thank you.
carefully this time.
After lunch?
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess we've got the culvert.
Yes, and I'm hoping that some of you council went over to take a look at that project. It was very fascinating how they did that. As you know, the culvert typically holds 3 to 4 feet of water from the bottom of the culvert. That's a 10-foot round culvert, so you can imagine how much is down below the water line. This year, the DPW lowered the lake down about a foot further than they normally do in order to dry up the land on both sides of that culvert. Because of that, the Eagle allowed us to do that dredging of that culvert, cleaning of that culvert without going through their permitting process, which saved us a lot of hassle. So they dropped a small piece of equipment like a small Bobcat down on the north side of that culvert. They ran it into the culvert and pushed dirt to the southerly end, and then they used a loader, or a backhoe, to pull that material out, swing it around, and place it on the upland side. And they virtually lowered the bottom about 3 feet. And then we had them dig an additional hole at each end so that as the water flows in and out of that culvert, hopefully that any silt that's moving that way will drop into the little sediment basin that we create on each end, thus prolonging the time that we need to get in and redo that culvert again. It was an amazing process. They're one of the few people in Southeast Michigan that can do this work. I want to give them kudos because they gave us this price 2 years ago, and they held firm to it all the way up through this year. So they held firm. The only reason that it wasn't $14,000 instead of $14,200 is I had them remove more earth by digging those holes in front and back of the culvert, and that was never part of the original plan. But for $200, I felt that it gave us a great deal more than the longevity in that culvert. So my recommendation is to pay American Marine their full amount of their invoice of $14,200 for the cleaning of that culvert.
Alrighty. Anybody like to motion that?
Motion to pay American Marine $14,200 for cleaning the culvert.
Second.
Motion by O'Brien, second by Dumont. Any discussion on that?
Just to follow up on Mike's comments, Andy Stone and Mike and I were out there as they were wrapping up the project just to make sure that everything was getting done the way it needed to get done, and none of us actually knew if it was a round or oval-shaped tube, or if it was only like a 100 elliptical, thank you, yeah. And so they went and they found out, no, it is a round tube, so Mike had them basically scrape right to the bottom of that tube.
Right.
So we got as much out of there as we could.
So how far on each side?
They went about 12 feet each side of each end. If you were out there and took pictures, and certainly Administrator Gillum and I did, the canal was virtually high and dry.
Right.
And then we dropped down into the culvert, and then we ended up with 2 feet of standing water in the bottom of the culvert, even though the lake was down 2.5 feet from normal. So there should be no problem with the boat owners. If they can navigate the canal, they're certainly going to be able to get through the culvert.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, I went by during the process, and it was, I mean, the canal was pretty high, and a lot of the water, you could tell how, a lot of the land, I guess the base of the lake was pretty high compared to, you think of it during the summer when it levels up, but only dropping it a couple feet, I mean, there's an awful lot, there's a lot of shallow areas. So
Yes.
that canal has filled up quite a bit since
It
the 30
certainly
years I've
has.
been here.
Right.
I know that for sure, so.
But now the limiting factor is the bottom of the canal, not the bottom of the culvert.
That is correct.
Wow.
Right.
And I know residents back in the canal back there, they've been talking about, looking at trying to get that dredged out for the last 4 or 5 years at least, so. That was quite a bit higher.
Yes.
That's quite a few yards of material you took out of there then.
They took approximately 55 cubic yards of material out from in that culvert. So,
Great, too bad we couldn't put it over on McCoy.
yes, that would have been nice. I do want to give kudos to the DPW because they really kept this price from being even higher. The DPW not only used their trucks to haul the material to our storage place across the street in Commerce Township, but they did some loading as well. So we had a great deal of work done by DPW that kept this price from being even higher than it is.
Great.
Great.
That was a great project, so. With that, I guess we'll call vote.
Heznicki,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Dumont,
Yes.
Jeremini.
Yes.
Alrighty.
If I could just update council on one additional item. The water main on Marchar, the extension of the water main on Marchar, the water main was extended about 209 feet. It was a very interesting process because there's been and you council that have been around for a while will not understand this at all, that there were problems with Eagle. It used to be DNR DEQ, now it's Eagle. They have an acting new department head in Eagle that deals with the extension of water mains, permitting of water mains in this area of the state. The new acting director decided to do some investigation as to whether or not the village has the right to extend water mains within the village. She found that in her definition, the village does not have the authority to own or extend water mains that is part of the City of Detroit water system. And we receive water from City of Detroit from Walled Lake in the Helmsford area, and from Commerce Township all the way along South Commerce Road and down Glengarry Road. So since the new extension in Marchar is part of the receiving water from Commerce Township, she decided that the village does not have the authority to do that. Because of the urgent nature of extending that water main, she did allow it to be extended with the application done by Commerce Township. However, she has asked Administrator Gillum and myself, as well as DPW, to evaluate how we're going to extend water mains in the village from now on, and there are pros and cons to that. And so Mr. Gillum will be putting together a study session for you folks, maybe even during the goal setting, in order to discuss what the pros and cons of the different options we have in the village for extending water. But I preface that because we did get the water main in. It's totally approved. Oakland County it will be taking care of it. And then we have proposed to extend water service to each of the two homes that asked for that water main. Kathy Corellis and Mary Ellen, forget what her last name is.
Fryer.
Fryer, thank you. And so that was scheduled, they were scheduled to be hooked up tomorrow, but because of the rain event that's supposed to come in, that has been put off until next week sometime. But we expect that both those homes will be connected to the, I'm going to call the Commerce Township water system next week sometime. So I just wanted to bring council up to date on that. And if you have any questions, I can try to answer them. All right?
I guess we'll find out. We'll be talking down the road for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. There are issues that I think we can work through. We met with the City of Walled Lake last week and the Water Resource Commissioner's office, and those were very good discussions. I think basically everyone is on the same page here, candidly, except Eagle.
Yes.
And it's just a question of exactly what Eagle is going to require of us to stay on that same page. I think at a minimum, we'll probably have to amend the interlocal agreements that we have with Commerce Township and Walled Lake for water service right now, but we're hoping that we don't have to really go any further. Worst case scenario, the village would have to obtain its own water service system number. I believe that's what it stands for, a WSSN.
Correct.
Which we can do, but if you have to obtain your WSSN, then it also imposes all kind of obligations upon you to do all the testing and maintenance on the system. We can contract that out, but we're expecting if we did have to contract that out above and beyond the work that's already being done in the village by Walled Lake and Commerce Township, there would be an additional cost. So, but I'll have more information. And again, we'll probably maybe give you an update at the goal setting session in a couple of weeks. So.
One question. Are there people in the village that have requested through the village or have expressed interest in just getting city water?
Helmsford, we had to hook Helmsford up.
Well, that, but I mean,
Yeah.
just other people within the village, not because that they had to, like Marchar or Helmsford, but I mean, is there a voice out there at all from anybody in the village that is saying, gee, we have sewers now, maybe, like city water? I mean, I'm not saying I want to do that, I'm just wondering if anybody has approached the village.
The only residents that I've heard from are the residents either on Marchar or on in that area, because when we extended, when we were contemplating looking at our options to deal with the two homes on Marchar, we reached out to all the residents that potentially would have been able to tap in if we had extended the line all the way to the end of the road. I got a response from most of the people, and they were split. It was about 50-50 as to whether or not they would want to actually obtain city water. And if they did want to obtain city water, they certainly didn't want to have to be part of an SAD to be able to do it.
Right.
So there's a resident across the street on the east side of Marchar, by where the existing line was, the original line, if you will. They're very interested in tying in, but they just don't have the resources to pay the lump sum that they would have to do to be able to do
Okay.
it.
All right.
But other than that, no, we're not really hearing from anyone that
Just
there's
curious.
I mean, I think people would like to do it, but they don't want to have to pay for it.
I was gonna say, I've talked to some people over the years that, you know, when they first put the water main down, they were wondering how quick it'd be all tie in. And once they found out what the costs were gonna be, it was, oh, we don't need that bad, and we'll deal with well water.
Yeah.
And then some of the time, you'll get new residents that move in from, you know, Livonia or wherever.
Right.
Where they've had
That's what I
city
was
water.
thinking. Yes, that's what I
And
was
they were a little concerned about it, but I mean, everybody gets used to well water pretty good, pretty quick, so
Well, I mean,
village-
generally speaking, the water around here is pretty good.
it is.
Yeah,
It
the
is.
village was presented with special assessment petitions for Lakeview. This would have been maybe 10 years ago or so. When we did the analysis, the cost for installing an 8-inch water main all the way down Lakeview and the restoration, they said they could drink their water from their well for a long time. So they decided not to pursue it.
Right,
You buy a lot of softener salt for what
Yeah,
it costs.
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you, council.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
If I could just follow up on one thing that Mike had talked about, now that the culvert has been cleaned out over in Marchar, Brian, you and I talked about it a little bit today.
Yep.
Is with the lake levels. You know, we've been, in my opinion, I guess there might be some skiers that disagree, but, I mean, we've been fortunate, we've had a very mild winter so far. And I was at the dentist office yesterday morning waiting to go in, and they had the local news on the TV, and the weatherman got on and said, I think the worst of the winter weather is behind us. So, and I had a conversation today with one of the members of the water board about it too. We may not, this may be the first year that anybody can remember this, we don't get a hard coating of ice all the way across the lake.
Except for last weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people were ice skating last weekend.
Yeah, but it's pretty mushy out there. I wouldn't go out there right now. I mean, there's holes that are opening up already, and it's gonna be 50 plus tomorrow, so next week it's gonna be warm.
Yeah, so, given that we had lowered the lake levels more than we normally do, what we've discussed, and I think what we're gonna go ahead and go forward with, right now, I believe 2 of the gates of the dam are closed, and the 3rd gate is closed with a board, but there is still some water that comes through. I talked with Andy Stone this afternoon. He's gonna go ahead and pull the board out and go ahead and close the
Shut it
3rd
down.
gate on the dam. We're gonna start to try to recollect the water in the lake as quickly as we can, given that it doesn't appear there's going to be a lot of snow melt this year, because we haven't had much snow. Whether or not we get a lot of rain, we'll see. I mean, if we need to, we can always open the gates back up. If we're picking up water too fast, we pick up too much. But again, the idea would be when the spring comes, hopefully we won't have to be around the pumps to fill the lake level back up. because
Yeah,
that
there was a
costs
couple of
us
years
money.
in spring,
So-
we didn't have a lot of rain at all, and there was not really much snow melt either, so we actually had to turn the pumps on early to get the water out.
We can drain the lake a lot faster than we can.
Yes.
fill it.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep,
And it's free to do that.
Yeah,
that's right.
Agreed. It's a good idea. This is the first time we've done this in how long, ever?
I
This
would-
early?
I don't know about ever, but it's been, I think probably this early, we haven't done it for, I know 30 years that I've been here. So, yeah, I don't know what they did when they, drained it down a long time ago to get the stumps out.
The stumps out, yeah.
They probably started to bring that up earlier, I would guess. But, I mean, it's a perfect scenario right now because we're not gonna have any ice covering, and you can't raise it when you have ice, because then it makes the ice unstable. So if we don't have the ice and we have warm weather for the next 2 or 3 weeks, why not bring it up? Get it up as far as we can. If it freezes again, we have a cold snap, we'll just shut the gates and let it static sit where it's at there. And we can continue after the ice goes, but no, I think that's a great way to get ahead of it. And really, I mean, it's there for people to do work on their seawalls. I would think everybody's pretty much had much of their work done, if they have had to do anything. We might as well get the water up. At least get it back up to where normal drawdown would be at this point, and then we can take a look from there and see where there's at. Maybe we can get them. Maybe the water skiers will be happy earlier.
I'll speak for them.
So with that, anything else on that? So
No, I just wanted to kind of give an update as to where we stand with the lake level.
I think it's a great idea. And I guess the water board can probably discuss it next week.
Yeah, yeah.
Did Andy have any comments?
No, I mean, Andy was kind of thinking along the same lines. That's why he put the board in the third gate. It's not like the third gate is wide open right now, it's just a board, and it is retaining a lot of the water, but just not all of it.
Mm-hmm.
He said if he takes the board out, drops the gate, then
good.
we'll be retaining
Okay.
everything. So he thought it was a good idea also.
Perfect. Okay.
No ice is safe ice, right?
Yeah.
It's a stand, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's for sure. Okay, we have no public hearings, so we'll move on to new business. IA, which is Planning Commission recommendation to review and approve the 2022 annual planning report, which was reported by the Michigan Enabling Act. And nothing's out of place on that. It's pretty much what we did regarding planning, so with that, I guess. Anybody like to recommend we accept and approve?
Yes, I will.
Okay. That was almost as bad as pulling teeth. That was Mr. Dumont. Here's second by Mr. O'Brien. Any discussion? Says pretty boilerplate stuff, and Sally from Carlisle Workman put this together, and it's pretty much everything we did. So with that, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item B, tiki candle purchase. And now we have the tiki candle lady on our board.
As you can see from the memo that I issued in January, every year we continue to sell less and less candles, which is fine. We do not make any money, or the plan
It's
is
not a
never to
moneymaker,
make
yep,
money
it's
on the
just-
tiki candles. It's just to make it easy for people to light up the lake on July 3rd. So every year I've been lowering the amount due to lower amounts being ordered and the price of everything going up. Prices for this year have gone up again. Last year, we ordered 15 cases. This year, I'm asking for 12 cases. We had, I'm trying to think, did I put it in here?
It went
How
up
many
a
we had left over?
dime since last year.
I'm sorry?
They said it went up a dime since last year.
Yes, so it wasn't, last year was a big jump.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, last year, I had suggested, selling the candles at $5.25, and council decided just make it easy and go for $5, which is fine. So, the candles really cost us $5.29 a candle, just for ease of change for everybody, the people that help me sell the candles. I am suggesting to either set the selling price at $5.25 or $5.50. So whatever council wants to do. I'm just rounding up to quarters, so
Mhm.
we either go down a little bit or we go up a little bit. So, and hopefully, 12 cases isn't a lot. There's
No.
4 in a
What's your
case.
opinion? What would you like to charge?
What do I could go either way, Dave. It doesn't make any difference. I was shocked last year when council actually decided to go under what I suggested, so,
Well,
yeah.
there was a thought behind that. I guess here's what my thought is this year. Since we have 110 candles, right? 110 left, 115? That were purchased at the $5.19, right?
Yes,
And we're gonna be $5.25, $5.29 this year, so that's
Yes.
4 cents over. Maybe we try, I'm suggesting maybe we go with the 5.25 right
Okay.
now. Occasionally, and one thing I wanted to mention too, Pam, is the last couple of years, I think, or at least last year, on the flyer you had, as far as any overages could be, or donations could go towards onwards and upwards.
Yes.
The way we used to do that, way Joanne used to do it in the past, is if there was anybody that wanted to throw, say they had $18 or $19 bill and they had a $20 bill and didn't worry about the dollar change, so they'd toss that back in. That was always left in the fund, the Tiki Candle Fund, to be able to pick up some of this overage, like we're 4 cents a candle over this year, right? It's going to amount, if you have 100 candles, that's going to amount to, $4. It's not a lot, but that overage, if anybody threw in a little bit extra in there, then they could cover that, would just keep it the Tiki Candle Fund, and then carry over for next year. So that's how we were able to kind of flip-flop between $5 or $5.25 or $5.50.
Well, I was
Some of them were
asked
a little higher, some were a little lower.
to
so.
put that in
Okay.
on the flyer. Someone that was not here anymore, but onwards and upwards, that since, we're sending out this flyer, and it's Tiki Night, and it's fireworks,
Yeah.
can I put in a little blurb for them? So
Right.
that's how it got in there.
Well, I'm just saying, as far as a candle purchase, it would be nice to be able to keep a little bit of slush fund in the candles, just to be able to, so that we could
Offset the cost.
Yeah.
we're not
Offset the
going
cost,
to go out of whack. And doesn't amount to much anymore.
No, but
Really.
there's always more money than, we always collect more, not a lot, but we always collect more money
Right.
than what the candles actually, cost, so.
But not a whole lot more.
No.
I mean, it was what, $50, $60 last year total?
Yes, I think, yes, I don't have that.
So I guess my thought is if anybody wanted to donate to the fireworks, they could donate onwards and upwards through the village office or whatever. I mean, we've got that on the website, we've got it on other flyers. I'm not discounting the fact that, but kind of leave the candles alone just because it did used to help us be able to round up or down a quarter, to make change easy.
Right, yeah.
I mean, years ago, it was like $3 a $2.50 a candle, right?
Right.
So it was a big decision whether to go from $2.50 to go to $2.75. But, so I guess that was a thought I had. I don't know if it's the council's pleasure what we do with it or whatever, but that was my thought on the whole thing, so.
The
Anybody
question
else?
is, we purchased 360 candles last year, right? There's 115 left over. So
We had I had 110 left
110
over.
left over. So we sold 250.
Which will probably be down a little bit
We
more
probably
this
had-
year.
I think we had leftovers from the previous.
Previous year
as well,
also,
so
yeah.
we probably sold
Right.
more than 250, but yeah.
Yeah, well, every year, the amount that we purchase is lower, and every year, so far, we've been equal to or less candles left over than the previous year.
And really, I mean, people are, you start approaching $5.50, $6.
I know.
People are going out and buying their own kerosene,
And that's fine.
which
yeah.
is fine. And a lot of them have torches in their yard anyway, so,
You can buy the
for,
torches and
for
oil
the,
for
for the bugs,
$5 a
mosquitoes
piece.
and stuff, so.
And use them year
Citronella
after year.
candles or whatever, yeah, so,
Use them year after year.
yep.
That's neat.
So,
So as we're approaching that point.
I guess, anybody else have, Mark, do you have any comments, or?
I think that would be fine to keep it in a candle fund. I think that way it's just separate and clean too.
Right,
I don't know, it'd be fine, and plenty of ways to donate to it, so.
okay.
$5.25 is a good price. They'll encourage people to buy at least 4.
Yeah, right, round up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think $5.25 would be good too.
$5.25, okay.
And if we have a couple bucks left over this year, I mean, it'll go carry over. Treasurer will keep tabs on it, tight
We
tabs
can
on it, I'm sure. Have a huge slush fund in there for next year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, is that direction enough? I don't think we need a motion.
Well, you need a motion to authorize the purchase.
Yeah.
The purchase, but not necessarily, we can set the price, I guess, in that motion, so. Dave?
Okay. Motion to purchase the candles.
4.
Have the Tiki Night.
For $5.29 apiece?
No, not
Through English?
$5.29, $5.25.
No, we
Purchase.
pay
You still have to buy them for $5.29
We still buy them for
through English Gardens.
Oh, that's right, for the PO, of course,
Yeah.
$5.29, yes. Forgive me.
And set the selling price at $5.25 for friendly?
Okay.
$5.25 friendly.
Okay.
Second.
Bill seconds it, Mr. O'Brien, so, any other discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Dumont,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
Kaznecky,
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
Medbrook?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Well, we beat the heck out of candles, didn't we?
Yeah, thank you. I'll
Thank-
contact Bob right away. Yeah. Yeah.
Pam, do you want to reach out to Bob Walker tomorrow, or do you want?
Yeah, I'll reach out to him either tonight or tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Tonight? Holy moly.
So I won't forget. Because he's always anxious.
Don't
When
want him
he-
to go late on candles.
No, when he sends me the quote, he always sends, please let me know as soon as possible, you know? Well, you never know what, transportation is either running well or not running well, or whatever, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, we used to order them in the fall, and then a year that we had some seemingly a lot of bad candles that didn't like too good, we decided rather than let them sit in the DPW,
Right.
all
Yeah,
year,
remember
we would just order them in the spring. So that's how that got to happen. But I appreciate your approvals.
Oh, the
Thank
same
you.
animals will be delivering this year or selling?
Pretty
I'm guessing?
much. So
Pretty
far,
much.
my cast of characters that help me out, yes.
The
Alrighty.
usual suspects.
Yeah,
Mhm.
your house included.
I'll take care of this end of the lake.
Yep, but we really miss your son.
Grant?
Yeah, Grant, yeah,
Let's see if we can get him back out there.
yeah. That's okay, that's
See if we can
okay.
Get him back out there. He's done with school, he's gainfully employed, so.
Yeah.
So,
Last year, we could have sold them off to Harvester, too.
Can we sell it for you too at our office?
I don't know. Do you want some? I mean, we could put she's asking if the village could sell them.
Yeah, we could do that.
Well, we're close enough. I mean, we're
Yeah.
damn near.
Yeah, we could do it.
You could do it.
Just keep some in the garage.
Yeah, keep some in the garage. Well, it's amazing, most of the sales do occur a day of, or 2 days
Yeah.
before.
Hours before.
Hours.
before.
Hours and minutes.
You know?
How many candles left?
We're open 5.
Including neighbors that, they should be buying them earlier.
Why don't we do it that way anyways? That would make a lot more sense,
What's
I
that?
think. Hand them out through the village hall.
Well, no, just
No.
just be one of the things on the map to
I
sell
know.
them.
What I'm
Just to
saying
make it-
is, like Pam said, it's a matter of minutes before.
it is.
Yeah.
So we
got
get,
people
I mean, we
coming
get a
up.
rush coming in, and if it happens to be
Right.
Saturday, they won't be able to get them here, so.
No, they wouldn't be.
Yeah. Or after hours, people come at night, 8 o'clock at night. I mean, not that it bothers me in the summer, but
Well, it gives you an excuse to talk to your neighbors. too,
Yes,
so.
yeah.
But I don't see any problem with us having some on hand.
Maybe we'll take off the onwards and upwards, and we'll add, or at the village office, so.
Just put 'em on the map.
Tabitha's always done the.
put them on the
flyer
map
for me.
too, yeah.
Yeah.
And if people are taking care of some business
Yeah,
around here and they want
that's
to buy
what I thought,
candles,
yeah.
so be it.
Okay. Well, thank you.
And it'd be easy enough to collect up the candles before the 3rd or something like that, or that weekend before, if,
We may find
You
that
have
we
a whole lot-
move quite a few more if we have them at the hall here.
I don't know.
Fourth of July is
We'll
gonna
see.
be-
It would be interesting to see afterwards, yeah.
Like somebody just said, as people come in to do business,
Mm-hmm.
they can grab a couple dozen.
That's optimistic. I like that.
Alrighty!
Just the village, you never know.
I'll be bringing mine up here too.
And hopefully they'll pay for them, too.
Yeah.
Pay all your candles.
Pay a tax check.
Pay your taxes, get a candle.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
I think we're done on candles.
Yep.
Beat the
Item
horse.
C, renewal of membership in Transportation Improvement Association, or TIA. So I know we've gone through, Chief's come through with TIA quite a few times for a lot of, I guess it'd be traffic surveys. I know we looked at it over at Wolverine Lake Drive and other
All you need
areas.
is a renewal, right?
Mhm.
This is
Motion to renew
yes.
the membership for the TIA.
All right.
Second?
Oh, I think Pam got it, so it's a change. Everything's a sweep on this side of the table tonight. So I got motion by Dumont, second by Kaznicki. To renew TIA's membership. Any discussion? Anything to say on this?
No.
Okay.
No, we-
Very well, we'll-
I'm not sure exactly how long we've been members, but it's.
Long time.
A long time.
Yep.
And they do provide a valuable service when we're needed, when they're needed. So,
Alrighty. Roll call vote, please.
Jeremy,
Yes.
Kaznecky,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
Pedroia,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Dumont,
Yes.
Okay, next item is introduction of the first reading of ordinance 161, which is regarding the discharge, illicit discharge of liquids from properties to other properties, I guess.
Yeah, that was moved to introduce, first of all.
Second.
Motion by Dumont and second by Jeremy to introduce.
And that was
Discussion.
that was the ordinance about discharging sump pumps.
Or water
Yeah.
from one property onto somebody else's neighbors or...
Avoiding discharging your sump pump on your neighbor's yard.
So would this include something like someone who has an above-ground swimming pool and they're gonna
Drain it?
launch, yeah,
Probably.
thousands of gallons and it flows into their neighbor's yard?
Probably.
We didn't have anything
I
on our
think it
books
takes
for
care of
that. We had no way to enforce it. And
It's
still don't.
Boca code. It is Boca code, I believe, right, Mike?
And it's state common law as well, is when you confine stormwater into a point discharge, and if you outlet it, you have to have some means of approval to do that. That's different than your lawn just sheeting across property lines. Point discharge, you're changing the characteristic of that flow, and you cause damage on your neighbor's property, and so that's what the attorneys addressed.
Yeah, Ms. Kimberlin is the one who did the heavy lifting on this, so if you have any other questions.
So this isn't going to be like somebody gets upset because somebody's watering their grass and then it's getting in the street too and everything else.
No.
And so we're going to avoid that.
It should,
Kind of.
It's kind of written so, to give it a little bit of a interpretation, common sense interpretation. So that
I just-
it isn't
I'm hoping
so
that's where you counter.
specific that, that people can grab onto it for some silly purpose.
I hope we don't have people in the village that are concerned about somebody's sprinkler running out in the
You
room.
never know anymore.
Well, this is specific to discharge, though.
Right, that's what I'm.
Right.
So that it's
I
directed.
mean, granted, I suppose, well, if there was some crazy, constant sprinkler that
If they
was
ruptured
causing
line.
someone else's lawn to constantly hold standing water, then it could potentially apply to something like that. But not just like a
Not the
temporary
casual
little,
watering and all that, that would
no.
be eight neighbors with a rivalry kind of thing.
That's another thing that we tried to avoid is I talked about with Mr. Powell and also with Leanne and Jennifer, we wanted to avoid a situation where, say, if I do some landscaping on my property, and nothing outrageous, nothing unreasonable, but just I do something on my property and it affects the drainage somewhat.
You got a swale in and
Yeah,
direct it
so
towards your
then,
neighbor.
so now all of a sudden, there is more water draining onto my neighbor's property than there was before. That's not what we're talking about here. As David said, it's really more of an active discharge, something that really creates a significant nuisance.
Something so that the village is not dealing with all these neighbor problems potentially, whereas that should be a civil issue if it were to come to that, like those kind of things that are more nebulous.
Yeah, no disrespect to the village engineer, but we don't want to be paying Powell and Associates to come out and do analysis to determine how much groundwater is draining onto a neighbor's property to support a civil infraction.
But this is more intentional, because in the situation it was intentionally draining.
If
to
he
the other
redirected
property.
his line so that it was
So
going off into that
The
lot.
downspout that ends on a person's property, but some of the discharge goes into somebody else's, that's not really.
Right.
If the downspout wasn't somebody else's yard, then it'd be covered by that.
Yeah.
Right, so.
And other municipalities have, somewhat similar ordinances that we've looked at, and some of them had like specific feet from property line and all of that, but we didn't include that in this, leading it more to just the determination by the ordinance officer or whatever, like, it comes out a couple of times and sees like, oh, there is standing water. So more of the standing water versus like a particular, you're allowed to put your discharge line out X feet from your property, because maybe one property it wouldn't collect on and another it would, so.
Anything else?
And just add in, we threw in also, not threw in, but just added, I don't think it's been a problem in the village, as far as I know, maybe Mr. Powell would know, but just the other discharges, just to kind of, since we're doing it, let's put that in there, you know, if someone's working on their vehicle, things are draining down, you know, into the street that are toxic or not noxious or that sort of stuff, so just to add another little layer of something that could be regulated if need be.
Alrighty. Seeing nothing else, I guess, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries on that. E, or Blue Cross Blue Shield Michigan renewal. And I know we've had some discussion on admin on this, and our rates are definitely increasing. Along with that is the employee contributions too.
Yeah, we were very surprised by the amount of the increase of the out-of-pocket maximum. It was a 50% increase. And then the way the village's labor contracts are set up, we basically have to maintain the same level of benefits. So I think ballpark, Jennifer, this resulted in what, I think it was about maybe $28,000 additional.
That's correct.
We're contributing total to all the employees' individual healthcare savings accounts, which may not seem like a lot, but year after year after year, it does start to add up. So at this point, you know, we are asking that for authorization to go ahead and renew the current Blue Cross Blue Shield coverage. As I've indicated in the memo and as we've talked about on the admin committee, we have both of our labor contracts up for renegotiation next year. So before then, I'll be trying to track down some other options. Blue Cross may still be our best option, but even within Blue Cross, there are some different plans. And so we might be able to find something that maybe saves us more money, or if it doesn't save us more money, provides a better benefit for the employees.
Right.
So,
I just have a quick question. In the body of the memorandum, it says that the deductible is $4,500 for an individual, but on the benefit summary description, second one down under medical, it says deductible individual $1,500. Right there, that's the second one down. Am I missing something?
It shows in network.
oh, you know, that page of the proposal, let's see. You know, it might have been in, you know, okay, that's right, that's what it is, because this is the proposal that we had originally received from Blue Cross back in the fall, and then we had met with Herman Klingelhoff, our benefits rep, talked to him, provided this to the police union and also to the DPW union. The police union in particular had some additional questions about the coverage, and it was supplemental documents that we got from them that laid out the increase in the out-of-pocket maximum. It's not contained in here, but it was in other documents, and then after we got that, Herman got that first. He was very surprised when he saw that. He contacted Blue Cross and confirmed that the increase, the $4,500 is in fact what would be in place.
And
yes.
that's for the $13,000 premium, right? Because it looks like the quote, it matches up with the premium. It's just that they got a error there.
Yeah, it's still, yeah, the total monthly premium
Still 13.
is still 13, yeah.
Which adds up to the 156, 299, 64.
Right.
No, that's a good catch, that's a good question. But it was in the additional documentation that we obtained.
Too bad can't hold you to it.
Yeah.
Well, I know it has definitely gone up. Ours has gone up. Sure. Anybody else that's in business knows
Ours
their
too.
premiums have gone up.
We just switched to Blue Cross Blue Shield, but we're using their self-insured plan, so
Mhm.
they're just managing us. And it's millions of dollars a year.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the problem that we have in talking with Mr. Klingelhofer is we're less than 50 employees. And so we fall into the small market. So we really don't have much negotiating power with them. He makes reference, for example, to the city of Royal Oak, where I used to work, where you've got 300 or 400 employees. And when you're outside of the small market, then you can go in and you can negotiate, or try to negotiate anyway, with Blue Cross as to what the out-of-pocket maximum is going to be. There are some limits as to what the deductible is, because those rates have to be approved by the state, as I understand. But again, we fall within the small market.
Is
so-
there any way a municipality can join up with other area municipalities to group it?
I wondered that.
I mean,
was
because
just gonna ask that question.
we looked at plans like that at work, where we can join into like Construction Association of Michigan, where we'll still get a group rate. And I just was curious if that would be available for municipalities.
I don't know, that's a good question. I mean, I know in Royal Oak, we had joined with some other communities to provide our own healthcare clinic. But I don't know that didn't apply to the insurance, but that's something we can look into.
It'd be worth
If we're looking
asking
at
a
other
question.
coverage for next year, we can look into that.
I mean,
too.
you might be able to lump in with, another group of
Sure.
You know, the MNO
municipalities, the same
something.
coverage, it's just, it's the larger coverage, so you can hopefully group negotiate a better rate.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I still don't know if it would take you per se out of the small market.
Right.
But again, you might have more negotiating power, more leverage. So, good question, good point.
I'll move that we allow Administrator Clerk to execute the related contract for,
Renewal.
renewal for the health care for our employees.
Second.
Okay, motion by Dumont, second by Jeremy, basically to recommend the approved, the resolved resolution. I
Yeah.
guess, huh? Any other discussion on that? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Pedro,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
And at this point, we'll just, this is probably for, it's gonna be a one-year renewal. And
Correct.
we'll look, probably next fall, start looking probably next fall for
Yeah,
how
I'll,
things are gonna go.
I'll let Herman know that we're going to go forward with this coverage for this year, but I'll give him plenty of notice, so he'll have time to
Start searching options.
start looking. I'm not
Yeah.
sure how early in the fall he'll be able to actually get the information from the healthcare providers, but at least he'll know that it's coming.
Mhm.
We're going to be looking for it anyway, so.
Alrighty. Well, with that, we're at the second call to the public, about an hour early, a little over an hour early. And seeing we have no public, we'll bypass that. So item G, Administrator Gillum requests council move into closed session immediately after agenda item 18 to discuss collective bargaining strategy pursuant to MCL 15.268, Section 1, subsection C, and to conduct administrator's annual performance evaluation pursuant to the other one. So, with that,
Motion to move into
closed session
closed session
after item 18.
after item 18.
Ready? I hear a second.
Second.
Again?
I didn't hear anybody else. say
Motion by
it.
Dumont, second by O'Brien.
You were getting a little antsy earlier about,
Yeah, I was waiting. Any other discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Pedro,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
Woznicki,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
Humont.
Yes.
All right, set topics for the February 22nd work session, which is going to be village goals for sure. Everybody get their thinking caps on, wish lists, and
I'll put together some background information from everybody before, like I did last year, which if you remember was kind of a summary of what we've talked about the last couple of years prior to that. So, but if there are other things that you think of between now and then that you'd like to have included, if you want to let me know ahead of time, we can specifically include them in the list. Otherwise, obviously, we can discuss them at the meeting anyway.
Can we get a more defined number about what we have left over in ARPA funds for that meeting?
not enough.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Ballpark, I think we've obligated maybe half of that.
Half of it, yeah.
So we can get more numbers, but with ballpark, we're looking at about 250,000 that's left. So,
Depending what happens with parks. Pay structures.
yes,
So,
give or take.
yeah. Okay, don't believe we have any pending business.
No, we do not.
We don't have the chief, so we don't have to worry about an update from him. Our treasurer's here, though. Treasurer?
February 28th is going to be our last day to pay taxes before it gets sent over to the county. So I encourage anyone who hasn't paid them to come on in and pay them, and we'll take care of them. And I'm looking forward to seeing you for the goals meeting in the next 2 weeks. And congratulations, Mike Knish. Has a well-deserved award.
Great. Dave?
Uh,
Treasurer update?
Thank you. Yeah, just to follow up, yeah, everybody that has seen on the agenda that Mike was recommended for that award, and everybody has commented to me and said, couldn't be a better choice. So congratulations to Mike. We're lucky to have him here in the village. So let's think summertime a little bit. The police department has been working with the state, and we do have dates for this year's boater safety classes. The dates will be on April 15th and on May 13th. Repeat, April 15 and May 13. Those are all going to be through the DNR website. We're not allowed to do any of the registration here at the village. So
It will be here, though?
the boater safety class will be here as in prior years, yes. And it will be Officer Grunwald and other Marine officers that are leading the training. But we are not actually going to be handling the registration for that. The state has told us that that's their exclusive bailiwick. So we'll get all the information out to everybody on the website, via email, via Facebook, things like that. But I did want to get the dates out because, again, we just found out today what the dates were going to be. So again, April 15 and May 13th. More information to come.
Probably pending how things go on the lake earlier this spring, we might have a later one midsummer.
If need be, yes. Yeah. I think what the police department was thinking is they want to try to get a couple classes in before the boating season really picks up, and maybe avoid some of the issues or problems that we've had the last couple of years. So, council may or may not have seen, I sent everyone an email on Monday. I forwarded information that I had gotten from Jason McDonald regarding the Clara Miller Playground Park equipment. If you could just take a look at that. Jason just followed up with me today. Really what he's looking for is a sense as to if there were two different play structures that he had proposed with a number of different features. And really what he's looking for right now is, first of all, which of the two play structures do you think is better out of the two? And then there could be some fine tuning as to the individual pieces that go along. So that's what he's looking for. I told him that the information had been forwarded to you and also to Parks and Rec based upon the discussion we had at the joint session a couple weeks ago. I told him that I could probably get back to him with maybe some consensus from both bodies by the end of the month. I figure we can talk about it if need be at the goal-setting session in a couple weeks. And then Parks and Rec can also have a chance to talk about it at their regularly scheduled February meeting on the 27th. So again, if you haven't seen that email, please take a look at it. And at the goal session, just come ready to maybe share your thoughts.
I think the bells would be as bad as the bongos.
Well,
The bells were worse. Watch those videos, they look loud.
We can't put bells or bongos in the middle of Clara Miller
Oh, I know.
Park.
But those bells were like, oh man, I thought the bongos were bad.
and actually, that's a question that I asked Jason today, because if you notice in the emails, for the benefit of everybody at home, some of the conceptual drawings that he had provided to us based upon his discussions with the playground equipment suppliers, one of the playscapes had some bongos in it. And if you look at the video, I put the link to the YouTube video, I mean, it looks from the video, they're probably about this big around. And I mean, literally, it's for people to bang on, so. But the other alternative, too, is a contraption that has bells and number of bells, and the kids can like flick a handle, and it comes back and it strikes the bell, so.
I can see kids taking something else over there and beating on it.
Yeah. Why do we need noisemakers?
I can see your neighbors going insane, rightfully
Maybe
so.
there's a way to, like, sound deadening the drums a little bit so that they're.
We'll just
not-
hang a sign.
Take 'em over.
Don't ring the bells.
Don't ring your bell.
I'm sure that'll take care of it.
I'll be ringing them twice as often.
They'll have to have an ordinance. They'll have to have
So, but anyway,
Eight
I
on
can
them,
direct
charge
that.
money.
Jason had indicated when he forwarded, based upon the concerns that were expressed about the bongos at the work session, he checked with the distributor, and you can remove the bongos, but it's considered a special upgrade. So there would be a significant, he didn't get into specifics, but there would be a cost having the bongos taken out. So when I touched base with him today, I asked him to check to see if removing the bells would also be considered the same.
I'm sure that would be too.
So,
Is that the first time they've been asked that? It can't be.
I don't think so.
I can't picture parks with like built-in
They're all-
band, garage band in the middle of it.
You just probably lose the screws on the installation of those,
Yeah.
that piece. I can't find the screws for that.
Oh, whoops, they got damaged in the installation. Well, I
Can't
guess
put
won't
that piece
happen.
in.
Take the ringer out.
Well, it might not be
Cut
that
the
big a
tops,
deal
put
either,
some
though.
plants
It
in
might not be
there.
that loud.
Yeah, it might not be that loud.
Realistically, I don't know.
I know, I encourage you to take a look at the videos.
Yeah, yeah.
And see for yourself.
People complain about the paddle, or the pickleball courts. So
Really?
they'll complain about the noise.
Yeah, but they're right next to
And
them.
it's close.
Yeah, I know.
It's being moved closer to the people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Backing up to it, so.
Well, you know what? If people yell in the park because of errant pickleball throw or something like
But it's
that, I
the
mean,
noise,
you know, it's
The
part
noise.
of living
They
next
don't
to a
like
park.
I've heard that
The
other
paddle
noise.
communities, the
Yeah.
paddle noise,
Yeah.
because it's a little harder, it's
Yeah.
different than the tennis racket.
But,
Go up to Richardson Center, they just installed a whole bunch of
Yeah.
new pickleball courts.
So,
Yeah.
like, there'll be complaints if they have bells or bongos. There'll be complaints.
yeah, I'm sure.
So, again, be prepared to potentially talk about that at the goal-setting session in a couple of weeks. And then the last comment, just a reminder to everybody, President's Day is coming up, it's Monday the 20th. The Village Hall will be closed that day. There will not be a delay in trash pickup. Trash pickup will be as usual on the 20th, but we will not be working. So, that's all I've got tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Council comments. Pam?
Well, I wanted to comment that I thought it was a really good meeting between council and Parks and Rec. And it was really cool to see the sketches and the video that Jason had. So I really appreciate that. It's exciting, to see them do an upgrade to Clara Miller, which was long needed, so that, and I just want to remind everybody to be really sweet and nice to your Valentine next week. That means your spouse, your children, your grandchildren. So, thank you.
Dave?
Congratulations to Mike and Nish.
Yes.
That's it?
That's it.
Bill?
Also, congratulations to Mike Knish, and I hope you all have a good couple of weeks till we meet again.
Mr. McNutt?
Same congratulations to Mike Knish. Well deserved.
Mark?
Congratulations to Mike Knish. He put on my roof last year, so got that one really well. He did a great job on that.
It wasn't free though, right?
Definitely not, no. No benefits to being a council member with that at all. But, and additionally, Onwards and Upwards is offering up a scholarship right now for $1,500. You can go to onupcef.org and click on the scholarship tab and put your entry in right there. Anybody is eligible who's 15 and up. And it's not just for college, it can also be for like trade school and things like that. And entries are due by March 24th for anybody that's interested.
Okay. Again, congrats to Mr. McNish. Mike Knish, I mean. And happy Valentine's Day to everybody. And be careful on the ice. If anybody, please don't go out the ice right now. Hopefully the next couple of days we won't have any ice left again, but I've seen some people out there. It was nice out last weekend. It was pretty slick. It's great. But not right now, so hopefully we don't have any issues. And maybe, hopefully everything will come up with the water. So with that, move into closed session.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So we'll,
When we come
Come
out,
out.
we're just going to be coming out to adjourn, so.
Yep.
You're gonna do a roll call, right?
oh,
Yeah. Actually, for what we're talking about tonight, we don't need a roll call vote.
To the closed session.
Yeah. No, not for, so we're going to talk about collective bargaining, and then also to do my evaluation.